Welcome,
Woo!
welcome. Joe Vitanza,
Hello.
how are you?
I am just wonderful on this Thursday.
Is it raining where you are?
It is not, but it is hot.
It's actually pouring right now. Getting a little bit of that relief. Joe, you and I were drinking the same drink for the clearly Canadian. You know, for a guy that busts my balls for being Canadian, you certainly drink this sparkling water beverage often.
It's
Solid.
the only Canadian drink I'll drink.
That you're busting him. Joe, how's your week been? It's been okay.
You can't complain. You know,
I can't complain. This week has been
interesting.
Well, it's been interesting for some. It's been emotional for others. Some people take a lot of the things that are happening in the wrestling world to heart, if you will.
It all started Monday.
It did. Monday was a very, very interesting episode of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, it was.
Especially after the fallout of Clash of the Castle.
Yeah, where our predictions were like,
especially the tag match. We were all wrong, I think, on that.
I think that's what's good about being a fan of WWE these days, because you really don't know which way they're gonna go. You may think like, oh,
that's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah.
Just when you think the match is gonna end a certain way, or someone's gonna retain a title, or another team, for example, is gonna win, you don't know. This Triple H era, this Renaissance era of WWE is a little unpredictable, which is great because it was way too predictable for so long. It was horrible, right? Got to the point where it was pointless to watch. You've been watching wrestling for 25, 30 years like we have, and you think you've seen it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can look at an outcome of a match, or you can see how a storyline is going to play out because we've seen it all before.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing is new. Nothing is different. But now, there's some interesting storylines happening in WWE, and we saw a few things happen on Raw.
Yeah. I mean, I still watch the 92 Rumble and think Sid Justice is going to win the title.
Let's say hello to the people. Joe, Kirk, he's always the first. Kirk is always the first guy who comments on every show before we even go live. It could be at 8 o'clock on the hour, or if we go a little bit later, Kirk is here. Welcome, Kirk. Thanks for watching. Juan, beautiful people.
Dirty Frank.
We are live. Miguel, what's good?
Juan again. Say his name when you pay. Hell yeah, Justin.
Justin Booth. What's
no
up?
Filter and no sensitivity here.
No. We'll see what happens tonight.
We'll show all comments.
I'm feeling frisky. We'll see what happens. So, Joe, Monday Night Raw, you mentioned, the fallout of Clash of the Castle. We didn't get all the predictions right, but a bit of a surprise to open the show. No.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it.
I wasn't either. I don't think anybody was, to be frank.
I mean,
but it kind of got overshadowed really quick. I kind of feel bad for Seth Rollins. Good to see him back. Good to see him. He looks healthy.
Yeah.
He looks in good shape. He looks determined.
I mean, it's like 2 months gone. I figured he wouldn't appear till maybe August earliest.
I was going to say, maybe September even.
Yeah.
But he looks good, and he's ready to have a match with Damian Priest for the title. What did you think of how Priest just kind of offered him a title shot?
I mean, who else?
Right? Like, I'm biased because I'm going to Money in the Bank, and Joe, you can make your comments because SummerSlam's going to be better. But
It is. We're going over,
yeah,
me and,
you've got the crew. You've got the crew showing up.
the crew. We're talking about it today, like how it's going to be such a stacked card.
So you hope, because
it will be.
we'll talk about Drew McIntyre in a little bit, but we don't know if he's going to be there. They're hoping he will. Look at that stern face. We shall see. But Damian Priest versus Seth Rollins in Toronto at Money in the Bank. I know we're not doing a prediction card.
Don't say Seth is walking out the champion.
No, he's not. He can't. To make Damian Priest a legitimate champion, he's got something. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. But he doesn't quite feel like a champion. He feels like that transitional champion in many ways. But that match against Drew at Clash of the Castle really showed what he's capable of. The fact that he worked that injury, right? That injury throughout the match, that was very well done.
But can he win a title match on his own? I mean, why does he keep needing help? Why can't he be like Roman?
Right? Roman won every match on his own. Why can't he be like Roman? But I don't know. There's always some interference.
Ooh, I'm liking this.
Juan's comment.
Yeah, Juan, even Justin. Woo.
Priest, hey, I've been holding on to this. Want it back? Rollins. Yeah, sure. Booth goes, I believe Finn Balor is going to screw over Damian Priest out of the championship at SummerSlam against Gunther. It seems that Finn, he kind of alluded to it when he said he was going to win Money in the Bank, right? And he said to Priest, I'm going to go after your title.
And Finn lost in the first round.
And I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Right? And then they put up a graphic with Jay advertising the Money in the Bank match, and a lot of people online are like, well, does that mean, is it a spoiler? Does it mean he's going to win it? I don't know.
A rumor innuendo says that Jey Uso is the front winner to win the Money in the Bank contract.
I've heard that. But would they put up a graphic with him advertising the briefcase and then he wins the Money in the Bank?
What if they put like everybody that wins the qualifying with their own briefcase up there?
They're going to have to. I just think him winning the first match and them showing that graphic, a lot of people are thinking, well, is it a spoiler, or does that automatically mean he's not going to win? And if that's the case, who else is going to be?
I got a swerve for that Money in the Bank match.
What's that swerve?
Drew pulls a Brock Lesnar, attacks somebody, and comes out and wins.
I wouldn't be upset with that. I wouldn't be upset with that at all. Who else is going to be in it?
It's just Finn so far. I mean, Jay. Just Jay.
Right? I was thinking Finn and Jay would be in it.
It's like 2 weeks out, man. They're like,
whoo. They're going to have to do this pretty quick to build that. So what, July 6th, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to the friggin' event. I don't even remember what day it is. It's a Saturday. It's a night. It's a week. Actually, it starts on Thursday. Joe, you were the one that sent it to me first. If you want to go see Sami Zayn's very first comedy act.
You're going.
I'm not going.
Why not?
Dude,
you're not going to see your Intercontinental Champion to Canada's own?
I hope he loses.
Canada's own?
I hope he loses. He's not mine. He's from Montreal.
It's Canada.
No, it's not. They're not Canadian.
Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
They want to separate. That's the narrative they've been telling.
It's Canada.
Okay, maybe to you Americans, it's Canada. It's all the same. So we all live in igloos and ice, and we say A and drink. Clearly.
So Canadian. Are you guys like watching the movie North is a really like. With the igloo,
That's it. That's
when you get old. They sent you on like a little ice thing with a TV.
That's our retirement, actually. That's why we have free healthcare. Thursday you can go see Sami Zayn. Friday SmackDown. Saturday you have Money in the Bank, and
so Sunday, you doing both? SmackDown?
No, I can't, dude. You know what it's like with a little kid.
Yeah,
it's tough. I'm lucky to get babysitting one night, so I'm not going to be able to do multiple nights. But even if I had someone to watch the little guy, I would not Sorry, Sammy. I would not go to see his comedy act. Look at this. Right? I'm not nothing against the French, nothing against the French Canadians, but
hello,
Joseph, we gotta.
But you know, that's like the thing. Like, I'm not going to SmackDown on Friday before SummerSlam.
Why not?
Well, I want to apologize to everybody in advance if you get a FaceTime call that night Friday.
Are you actually? You're just saying that to cover your ass. It's kayfabe, bro.
I'm just saying I apologize. Friday will not be it's going to be a fun night.
I'm sure it will, especially with the guys that you're going with. It's going to be wild. I just hope you guys make it to the event. That's all. Because there's one person in particular, and I'm not going to name his name, but he's come back around. He's I thought he fell off for a second, but
well, we're talking about starting Saturday really early, so I'm like, oh.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I know you're looking forward to SummerSlam. And
I'm not looking forward to going to the superstore and spending money.
You kind of have to.
Yeah. I already have it in my mind what I'm going to buy.
You have a couple of shirts that you're thinking about, or
a couple shirts, side plates.
Yeah. You're going to have to send the details. If there's something, maybe you can send it to Canada. I don't know if the USPS
shit happens. If there's a CM Punk autograph, I'll get it to you.
I was going to say.
And send it to you.
I actually might get it on July 6th. So there won't be any need. But
How?
if there are I'm Money in the Bank.
Oh yeah,
Money in the Bank, right? Punk might have to. I might have to buy an autograph there. But if not, you might be the only person in Ohio that I can trust. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe Joe, you can make my dreams of having that CM Punk autograph come true. So. But I don't know. You're hoping that SummerSlam is going to be this great show. But what else happened on Raw?
Braun Breaker destroyed Ludwig Kaiser.
See, I hope Braun Breaker beats Sammy
and
becomes the Intercontinental Champion.
You and me both.
I'm tired of Sammy. He doesn't do it for me.
Dude.
And if that makes
chasing the title.
He absolutely is. Just like he and Kevin Owens were better chasing the tag titles.
Yeah.
Sammy's not a champion. He doesn't look like a champion. He's a good character. He's a decent wrestler, but he doesn't, especially after Gunther's incredible reign.
Yeah. I mean, Braun Breaker's over. The crowd loves 100%.
him. You got to put a belt on him.
He is going to be a future champion. Probably sooner than later.
I think he's going to win that Intercontinental. And if not by the end of this year, in the next year or two, Braun Breaker will have a world title around his waist. It has to happen. I think it has to happen. Yeah. But speaking of world champions or former,
he's like a Goldberg with wrestling ability.
There's a lot more. His speed is remarkable. The guy is and the thing is, he's more like Scott than he is Rick.
Yeah.
That's the thing. When you hear him talk,
yes.
Like, whose kid?
Yeah.
Who's
hey, I'm here. What are you doing? I'm standing right here.
I'm waiting for him to start doing some Steiner math, man, because he sounds.
You ever watch The Table for Three with the Steiner brothers?
I have. It's
when him and Scott, like, even the what is it? What's the show? Most Wanted Treasures. When they go to the Steiner's house and Scott comes over and he starts messing with Braun. But like even there, he's like, I invented the Frankensteiner. Like him and Scott, like they play pranks on each other and just go back and forth with each other.
They pull jokes all the time, and it's a good watch if you haven't had the chance to see it.
I can't confirm that, Justin,
or deny.
That's true.
Scott's you know what? We were saying this the other day. A lot of Scott Steiner's TNA promos and segments are so underrated just because they were in TNA. They're gold. Some of his best moments were in TNA. But Drew McIntyre
Up and quit.
it was like Batista without the wheelchair.
Yeah. But it was like short and like just to the point. I quit. Can't do this anymore.
That main event at Clash of the Castle was done so well with the camera work, especially when Punk came down. I don't know about you, but like for a moment, I had no idea it was him.
No, because it panned out.
Right?
But when he got to the ring, you see the back and you're like,
you can see his hair, right?
Yeah.
You can kind of tell by his hair and how it's slicked back. But the crowd didn't react when he ran down. I think they were so focused on Drew and Priest in the middle of that ring that they weren't paying attention to who that referee was. They saw the striped shirt, but they didn't see who it was. They just think it's an official coming down to count the 1, 2, 3. And then the way that second camera, when they panned to the second camera and they showed Punk.
I thought he was going to flick him off.
Then
he went like, he went 2 and then he's like,
my bionic shoulder isn't quite ready. That was gold. But here's the thing, man. Then Drew grabs him in the corner, and then what does Punk do? He kicks him square in the nuts. That's the most heel thing that Punk could have done in that moment, and then just smiles and gets out of the ring, and
as soon as he's outside the ring, you got the fans flipping him off like crazy,
screaming bullshit. And then afterwards, then you see Punk celebrating with some fans along the gate, and they were just so happy to see him. And you see Drew's face after he loses that match.
Scotland screw job.
Yeah, the Scotland screw job. Punk has now screwed him twice. And Drew gets up and leaves. He quits WWE, and Adam Pearce and Triple H try and calm him down, talk him out of it.
I'm loving this.
Oh, man, it's great. They haven't even had a match.
No. And
this is arguably the best storyline that is going on. There's a couple other storylines that are great right now in WWE, but for not having a match yet,
it's been going on since like January, like end of December, January.
Yeah. The build for this is incredible, both online and what we see on WWE programming.
Like even Punk's like, you know, the press conference after Clash at the Castle, you know, like
eating those donuts.
He's like,
he took a shot.
Oh yeah, you know, you gotta take that fantasy booking bullshit somewhere else.
Man,
even Triple H kind of took a shot.
He did.
I don't know what about Punk and sweets. Every time he eats sweets at one of these, he gets himself in trouble.
Man. But Triple H's admiration for Punk is pleasant to hear. Their relationship has changed, it seems. And he's been more vocal about that. He's happy to have Punk there. And I think Punk will likely stick around in some kind of management role once he's done wrestling.
Even when you hear Triple H talk about, you know, Punk before, you know, when he came back, but like on Saturday after the show, you know, talking about like me and him we didn't see eye to eye, but we shared the same views basically. But like we were just, you know.
And that's the thing, Joe. Sometimes you are on opposite ends of the spectrum with someone, right? Yeah. And no matter what you say or what you do, you're going to clash. Mm-hmm. You're just not going to see eye to eye. You're always going to butt heads. But they made it
the same vision, but you're not seeing like what you're
right. Like. And that's a normal part of life. It's a normal part of work. So that's a part of business. But if you can put those differences aside and still go out there and do what's best for business. Pardon the pun, but if you can do that and you can make things work, that's the whole point.
It's a whole different structure than when Punk was there.
It is. It's from the top to the bottom. It is a different show. It's a different company. It's run differently. The production is completely different, and the storytelling now is arguably better than it has in well over a decade.
Yeah. And I think Punk said this when he came back. I think it was around Rumble or after that. He said like he was backstage watching Triple H. You know, like I think it was during a Raw. And he would go up to Triple H like, hey, why are you doing it this way? And and just probably like get his, ideas, pick his brain, like, hey, why are you doing this instead of this? I think it's
the fact that you can kind of question like that and try and pick someone's brain, and you've got that kind of environment, that is
now Punk said Triple H. Punk's a little more reserved than probably Triple H wants him to be, but
well, maybe for good reason.
Yeah.
He does have a bit of a reputation. And Drew has said openly, the guys have been placing bets about how long it's going to take before you're kind of out of here. But it's funny that Drew said that, and yet he's the one that kayfabe WWE, right?
I think a lot of people were skeptical about Punk coming back, but I think it's for the good. I mean, I think for the good, I mean, you got a lot of young talent that is looking up to Punk, and Punk's giving them knowledge. And Punk's a different person,
Absolutely.
more mature.
And I think his experience with AEW helped him to realize a lot of that.
Oh yeah,
right. How it was mishandled, and that's putting it very mildly. Taught him a lot too, especially after being away from the business for as long as he was. Justin says Tony Khan should take notes. This is how you run a show. You dumb. Yeah. You know what? We're not really going to be talking about AW too much tonight.
We don't filter comments.
Yeah. Pure fandom. This is Tom. Nice to see you, buddy. This is the guy that I ran into at Comic-Con who watches our show. This is the company, Pure Fandom. A lot of pop culture stuff, wrestling, toys, you name it, anything pop culture. Tom has his business, so
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, check it out. I'm not sure, Tom, if you have an online store. I think he does. He does have social media accounts.
Does he have a YouTube?
I think he does have a YouTube, and I know he has a Instagram, Pure Fandom. So follow him, check him out. He's got some good stuff. We had an interesting conversation actually earlier today about being a small business wrestling kind of person. And when you're trying to sell things like belts, for example, it's hard to try and get higher end belts when you're trying to buy in higher quantities, and just finding that maker that sells a quality item. But Tom is an awesome guy. He's a fan of the show. He goes on to say that the online store is under construction, so Instagram is the best way. No problem, Tom. Great seeing you at Comic-Con, and thanks for watching our show. Happy to have you.
But like Drew up and quit and just
Now what's the next step? Where do we go from here, Joe?
Well, CM Punk will be on SmackDown tomorrow. Every time I hear Chicago, I think of that guy. Chicago. He's gonna get cleared, most likely.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll take some shots at Drew. I don't know what they do with Drew. Maybe they keep it separate for a while, or maybe he does come back at Money in the Bank.
If Punk...
Or maybe they make him and Punk's match at SummerSlam #1 contender.
I like that. I do like that. I wish Jones was here because he would have better information or knowledge about TNA's schedule. But I'm wondering with all this crossover stuff that's happening, does Drew show up kind of on his old stomping grounds? Does he go back to TNA for a little bit because he's quit WWE? Does he go after Moose?
Punk can show up. He was in TNA.
He was in TNA as well. So here's the thing I'm thinking, Joe. Let's say Drew crosses over, right? He crosses that line.
I love Juan's idea.
Juan, I was just going to say that, man. I was just going to say that. You read my mind. He goes after Moose's belt, and Punk shows up and screws him a third time out of another world title. Not only does he screw him twice in WWE, but now he screws him in TNA for the TNA title too. That'll bring a lot of eyes on TNA. You have star power like Drew McIntyre and CM Punk show up in a match against Moose, because Moose is one of those talents who has been around for a long time in TNA, and he quite hasn't gotten his flowers because he's kind of stuck there.
Mm-hmm.
But if he was in a different promotion like NXT, it would do him wonders, I think. But he is the current TNA champion, and if Drew goes back, because I'm thinking, you know, I've been tuning into TNA a little bit more just because of what's going on with the.
You don't know who's going to show up.
That's the thing, man. It's got your curiosity, right? You see Jordan Grace showing up in the Rumble. You see her showing up on NXT, going after the NXT Women's title. You don't know who's going to show up on either show. I watch NXT the last 2 weeks in a row from start to finish, just because I'm excited.
I wonder how Drew and Punk's relationship is backstage. Like, because you hear about, you know, Zeth and Punk working backstage.
Yeah.
You know.
And they've been pretty open about their disdain for each other in some respects. But they make it work. They're professionals. And they put whatever personal beef they might have had or still have aside to work together to make the show, to make the product what it is. And that's what should have happened. We've said this before, Joe. That's what should have happened in AEW. When all the shit happened with the brawl out, that's what should have happened while Punk was still with the company. And yet the EVPs, they couldn't set their egos aside. So Seth and Punk, I want to see that happen. I definitely want to see that happen. But Drew and Punk is, to me at least, the best story that is going on in WWE today.
And they haven't had one match.
It's not going to disappoint, man. I can't see it disappointing.
How good is that? How crazy?
No, it's nuts, man. They haven't. Both of these guys have been injured. Punk has been injured for a lot longer, but they had that run in at the Rumble, and Punk gets hurt, you know, and they fragile Phil and everything else, the back and forth, and yet this storyline, like you said, they haven't even had a match, and yet it's the best thing going, story-wise. When they do have a match, and I hope they have more than one match, and it's not going to be in a Hell in a Cell like that one reporter was hoping for.
Take that fantasy booking bullshit somewhere.
Take it out of here, bro. They're going to have a wrestling match. And maybe if they have a second or third match, maybe one of those matches is going to be where there's some kind of stipulation or there's some kind of gimmick to it. But they're going to have a wrestling
match. Hell
match.
Yeah, take that shot at him.
I don't blame him. Let it loose. Let it all out.
Even Triple H is having fun with it, you know. Every time he eats sweets, you know, I don't know. Every time he eats sweets at one of these things.
Something, it just changes it. Something happens. But yet you got to have fun with this, man, because, you know, when you turn on AEW television or you watch their backstage segments or their press conferences after, WWE lives rent-free in their fucking head. Like Tony Khan and company look at every opportunity they can to mention WWE or a wrestler in WWE or take a shot in someone.
Yeah. You know, how much do you think it irks AEW that TNA and WWE are working together?
Given that AEW and TNA had their little crossover not too long ago, right? When Kenny was the belt collector, right? And he did win the TNA title, and he had a match, I believe, with Moose. As good as that was, and I like Kenny Omega. When he's not around Maddie and Nikki, what TNA and NXT are doing right now with their portal, right, with the Forbidden Door, which is just around the corner for AEW. But what NXT and AEW, NXT and TNA are doing right now is in a different league than what AEW and TNA did together. Like this is an incredible crossover of promotion. And it's not the only crossover that's going to be happening. There's other wrestling organizations and promotions that WWE is going to be working with. AJ Styles is going to be in Japan later this year. He hasn't been in New Japan in a long time. And the fact that WWE has kind of said, yeah, we'll work with other promotions, that's incredible. You can tell that Vince is definitely gone and he's not coming back.
And NXT this past Tuesday did a 724,000.
724. And here's the thing. Their numbers are continuing to go up. It's not a drastic increase, but they're certainly doing much better than Dynamite on Wednesdays.
Well, I want to see Dynamite, like just to see.
Oh, but you know,
Raw went up from last week. Their demo, man, in the
Raw is
18 to 49 range.
killing it. That's right, Justin. WWE is working with Pro Wrestling Noah and All Japan Pro Wrestling, to name a few. I think there's a few other promotions that they're going to be working with as well this year. But yeah, Pro Wrestling Noah and All Japan Pro Wrestling.
You
got the numbers, Joe?
I don't have it for Dynamite, but I'm wondering if this, like, I don't want to say TNA is ECW because they've been around longer than ECW. But WWE working with TNA reminds me of WCW. I mean, WWE working with ECW back in the day. You know, a little exchange talent.
Are the numbers? I don't even know if the numbers are in for.
Nope.
They usually are. What's taking them so long? I guess WWE is forging the numbers, like they said that 1 week. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in terms of the numbers for Dynamite. Usually they are out by now. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
But regardless of Dynamite's numbers, NXT is on the incline, and they are doing good things right now in this crossover with TNA. I think this is a good segue, Joe, because do you believe in Joe Hendry?
Who the F cares about Joe Hendry? If you dyed your hair blonde, I'm just saying.
The numbers, though, I think a lot of people care about Joe Hendry. You might not care, Joe, about Joe Hendry, but a lot of people do. A lot of people do. Did you see the numbers that they're breaking online?
Yeah,
dude, this is crazy. Gained over 3.5 million views in just 15 hours on Twitter, on X, whatever you want to call it. That is more views than the debuts of Okada, Ospreay, and Mercedes Moné combined for AEW's views on Twitter. They have around combined 2 million views with Okada, Ospreay, and Mercedes. And as much as we might not be feeling Joe Hendry, 3.5 million views in just 15 hours is insane.
He's over. When he was the last one into the Battle Royal, when he got thrown out, I was so happy.
See, Miguel's the crowd care. Juan says, I don't get his gimmick, but holy F, bro, the camera was shaking.
It's like if Lenny Lane and Kwee from WCW had a baby. I'll pop Joe Hendry.
Miguel says that, and that song is catchy, bro. It's supposed
I get it.
It's supposed to be low budget. It's supposed to be what it is, right? He did it himself. He's a man who's just trying to get his brand over, right? Trying to get his name over. Look at him. Bro, as stupid as it looks, you laugh and you remember that face. And as much as you don't want to clap along, bro, you want to.
I'm not doing it.
You're going to do it, Joe. You're going to believe. I'm going to believe. We're both going to believe, Joe, in Joe Hendry. NXT, Shawn Michaels, they need to sign this guy.
No.
When they get a chance. Yes, they do.
Okay. What I read, he impressed NXT officials backstage.
Do you hear the disdain in Joe's voice? Right? How could he not, bro?
But he's not all ego.
No, he is not all ego.
Because all ego is going to win.
Look, Juan believes in you. Look, I rest my case. See, Joe, it's like a fever. You know, you caught it, bro. You caught that fever. You caught that Joe Hendry fever.
Jeez. Please no.
It is what it is, man. The numbers are huge. And a lot of people were pissed that he got eliminated from that Rumble match. But got to look at the bigger picture. You're dancing along. You're singing the song in your head, bro. You can deny it all you want.
It is a catchy theme. I'll give you that.
Go back and you should see some of his, if you haven't already, Joe, some of the stuff him and Drew McIntyre have had some interactions.
Was that in the IWC?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's been doing these homemade videos, if you will, and making fun of guys. And this has been his shtick for a while.
I will say this. I do like his parody when he did the Phil Collins in the
Dude, he's funny.
Entrance.
He's funny. And it connects with the crowd. And like the wrestling's silly. Wrestling is supposed to be funny. And he's got it. And I think him losing, as upset as some people were, look how excited they were to see him, and by him losing. And then that backstage segment with HBK, he's saying, I'm gonna show up kind of wherever.
He's got that British, Scottish.
Yeah.
He's whatever.
He's going to be back. And I'm not sure in what capacity, but he's definitely over, bro. Just accept it. Why? No. Is he wrong? Is he wrong?
No, not at all.
Chelsea Green. Matt Cardona's a good guy. I've been trying to get him on our show, but
he's a lucky bastard.
He is a lucky bastard. He's got everything going for him. He's the deathmatch king. He's got great toy collection, smoking hot girl. He's doing his thing. He's recovering. He's got a pretty cool podcast. Like he's doing his thing, man. Good for him. But yeah, Joe Hendry.
I believe in Joey B.
It doesn't quite have the same.
Yes,
ring
it does.
to it.
Yes, it does.
I think if you use your legal last name, it might flow a little bit better.
Juan. I agree.
Good thing Joe's sitting down right now. That's all I can say.
Hey, I still look at the picture of her with her shirt
with her shirt up.
Pasties, you know.
That's Matt Cardona is a lucky man.
Yes. He believes in Chelsea.
Keep singing it. Keep singing it. Loud and proud, baby.
I can't.
Someone in the comments said this earlier, that Chad Gable is dead. Shot of Chad Gable dead, allegedly. Looks like he got shot right in the side of the head. It's like how they put cows out with the air pressure. But yeah, the Wyatt 6. Everyone was waiting for it.
I watched Raw.
I'll
usually watch like
I'm usually in bed, bro.
An hour here,
Yeah.
You know, like a couple segments. Then I'll watch, you know, like bits and pieces of it. And then the next day I'll watch it all full.
Yeah.
I watched Raw the whole night and I was entertained. I did not want to switch the channel.
It was one of the best shows from start to finish
Because I was waiting for them to appear. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to attack Jay at the end.
I thought so too, especially with the whole Firefly ordeal, right? And then you see Braun and company running out of the ring, they're chasing, and then the lights go out. And you've got the very distinct key from Bray Wyatt's latest song by Code Orange. I believe it's called Shattered. Just kind of playing in the background, right? And the mood is set. Lights go out. They got the smoke machines and that camera work, bro. I know we were talking about the camera work earlier, like when Punk ran down at Clash of the Castle, but the camera work for this debut,
Kevin Dunn who? Kevin Dunn who?
Seriously, how do we go all these years of watching these seizure-inducing camera angles, multiple camera angles and changes? It was bad, bro. For a long time, it was horrible. And now, chef's kiss, cinema.
Yeah. I mean, then you got Abigail. Come on. Nikki Cross.
Can't see everybody because of the Twitter comments that are.
I love Vic Joseph. Anybody able to come? Chad been playing victim for months, but now he actually is one.
But the production for this, man, was insane. From the costumes to the lighting to the camera work. Nikki Cross looks. She was in my nightmares, bro. It's like the Grudge, kind of like it was scary, bro.
Yes. Then
it was a nice homage to the late great Bray Wyatt. I think he would be very proud of what his brother and WWE put on.
I liked it. I was waiting for it when it happened. My son is a big Bray Wyatt fan. So he knew, Joe Gacy, Dexter Lumis.
Dexter hasn't been on TV for a long time. The last he was doing the stuff with the Miz, right?
Yeah. Eric Rowan. Good to see him back.
Nice to see him back as well. He's had a couple run-ins here and there and other promotions, but nothing too memorable. I liked his homage to Brody Lee.
Yes.
With the hammer.
The Bludgeon Brothers. And then, Bo Dallas shows up as Uncle Howdy, and then the Lantern. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
We're here, It was well done beautifully. Had no issue with it.
Yeah.
Some people did not like it. Some people thought it was too cartoonish. Some people loved it. You've seen grown men crying.
I saw a grown man cry with this debut, and I don't know how to react to that, Joe.
I was watching some reaction videos of it, seeing that. You wiped out pretty much half the roster, I would say. Finn Balor, Judgment Day, Chad Gable.
Rest in peace.
Why did they do it? Are you gonna?
That's a good question.
Here's my also. I don't think you can have them on every week. You got to make them an attraction.
Absolutely.
Because once you did this, you got to find something very creative to do with them, or else you're going to insult the wrestling fans' intelligence.
Absolutely.
Because it was hard enough with Bray Wyatt creative. Even Seth Rollins said. Yeah. Even Triple H said. Working with Bray is hard creative because doing stuff, coming up with stuff. You got to keep this group. I mean, you show up on Raw the first night, you take out these people. I didn't think they were going to go that far. I thought maybe they just appear take out maybe like one or two wrestlers, boom, boom, in the ring, go off the air. You do all that. And then I guess today on the Pat McAfee show, they take out them.
Yeah.
It's like,
To Juan's point, what's next? And to your point too, Joe, are
Yeah.
they superhuman and they no-sell everything? Do they make it hard for opponents to wrestle? Are they going to be wrestling in their get up, in their outfit? I don't know. I don't know what's next. And maybe that's part of it. We don't know what's next.
Mhm.
There's been some rumors online that they're not going to be superhuman. It's not going to be, like the Undertaker kind of thing. It's not even going to be like Bray Wyatt's Fiend kind of persona. This is going to be something that is maybe a little bit more like a group, like the Nexus in a sense, but darker.
Mhm.
That we got to figure out what's their agenda. Why are they here? And what
is
do
the
they want?
6-person Bray Wyatt spirit?
That's what I think.
Is it Strowman?
I don't know. Strowman ran out of there.
I know.
Right? He ran out of there, so he wasn't attacked. He got out just in time. I think the lantern kind of represents Bray's spirit, his essence, his soul, and that might be the 6th member. There's also rumors that Alexa Bliss will be involved in some capacity when she returns. But Bray Wyatt is one of those masterminds that are once in, I don't want to say once in a lifetime, but they're so rare and they come across so there's no Bray Wyatt. There's no Bray Wyatt, I think, in the history of WWE and in certainly in the modern era of wrestling. Probably one of the most creative minds, but with that creativity, and you said this before, Joe, sometimes it's hard to work with someone like that because they need that structure, or they need that push, or they need that direction. They need someone to guide them, right? Because their mind is just so advanced, it's so different from you and I, that they see things in such different ways. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. It was a great debut. It was bone chilling, and yeah.
Will they only be on Raw? Will they show up on SmackDown?
Will they show up? Well, if they showed up on Pat McAfee's show on ESPN, I think that means they could show up anywhere.
Yeah.
Will they show up on SmackDown this week? Are there going to be more QR codes that allude to where they're going to show up next? Could be.
What if they invade a company? Show up outside. Wow. On Wednesdays.
Tony Khan would die for something like that. But I don't know, man. Like, we'll see what happens next. But
you have to do something after that Monday, that debut.
Yeah. The follow-up is important.
Yes.
The follow-up is important because, like you said, Joe, if they aren't careful with how they book this,
quick.
People are going to say this is stupid. Yep. This is hokey. This is that supernatural bullshit. Wrestling's not like that anymore. Don't estimate or insult my intelligence. We're not here for that. We want that sense of realism, even though wrestling has always been kind of silly and kind of, don't undermine the intelligence of the fans, of the audience.
Very much so.
Tony Khan would love any kind of crossover right now, because for God's, I know we were going to talk a lot about AEW, but there's a couple good moments last night on Dynamite. I'm not going to lie. The opening match with MJF and Roosh was an incredible match.
MJF has a new finisher.
He does.
The Brain Buster.
He looked good. He looked good. And yet that match couldn't be at Forbidden Door because of CMLL.
Yeah.
That was a pay-per-view level match to open the show. You gave it away for free on cable television because of the politics. But you're elevating, my only gripe with it, you're elevating both guys.
Yeah.
right? And I didn't want to see Roosh lose because there's no reason for him to lose, just like there's no reason for MJF to lose that match. A little bit later in the show, you had maybe a little bit of foreshadowing about Wembley with Ospreay and MJF, but Ospreay and Swerve Strickland, that promo was fire, man. That was arguably the best that they've shown Swerve since he won the title, because they ruined that right from the get-go.
Best Ospreay promo.
And best Ospreay promo. When he's fired up like that, when he's a little bit pissed off, and he's running with it, you can see that authentic self. You can see that his true character kind of come out in his performance. That's the Ospreay that they need to show more often. And that's the Swerve Strickland that they have to show more often too.
When he said, when you had a hit row, I had a hit list, and I didn't miss one of them, I was like, wow.
That might have been the best line on AEW television ever. That's incredible.
Like it nailed, like, whoo.
Yeah. The delivery was perfect. The emotion was great. And then Swerve making it personal.
Yeah.
I like when Swerve's that heel that he should be.
Yes.
Right? He has no friends. He's not here, right? To quote CM Punk, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. I'm here to win championships. I'm here for me. I'm not here for you. And I'm not going to let you get in my way. That's the Swerve that he needs to be.
I was intrigued by this match. Before, I'm an Ospreay fan. I think him and Swerve will put on a phenomenal match.
Yeah.
But now, after last night, I'm like, I really want to see this match.
Yeah. They have to follow through with this as well. Don't have these guys off TV for another, like you're building up to Forbidden Door. Okay, that's in 2 weeks as well, June 30th. Is it not? In 10 days. Mirabito's going to that too, I believe.
Yeah, of course he is.
He just flies around the globe, that guy.
I know. It is.
I believe it's on June 30th. It's the Sunday show.
It is. Yeah, June 30th.
So now, do you put the strap on Ospreay? Or is that too soon? Because he's the international champion. Still pissed off about those fucking side plates on.
I don't know. I'm 50-50 on this.
You're 50-50 on a lot of things, aren't you?
I am.
I want to see Ospreay with both belts. I do. I think it's good marketing. I think he's your poster boy.
I mean, I'm an Ospreay fan, so
yeah. I think I just don't know if they're going to put the strap on him now. I think if Swerve wins, kind of makes it a little bit more legitimate before.
When Swerve brought up Ospreay's son,
yeah,
I could just see Christian Cage in the back, sitting there like Yoda, like, you're learning well.
Yeah. I'm an Ospreay fan as well, and to me, he is in many ways the next Kenny Omega. I think he, at this point in his career, obviously he's younger, he's faster, he's not dealing with the health complications that Kenny is.
Here's what you can do. Have Ospreay win the title at Forbidden Door, and him versus MJF at Wembley.
That's money. Mirabito will also be at Wembley, I'm sure.
He's traveling all over.
Guys, he's all over the globe. If Ospreay versus MJF for the AEW World Title is at Wembley, I think that is a main event that will put butts in seats. Because I'm not sure, I haven't kept up with the ticket sales or what they're at right now, but it won't be long before Wembley.
When I got those SummerSlam tickets, Maribito, as soon as I got him, he's like, "Yo, I'll send you the money right now."
He will not miss.
I don't think he cared where I picked the seats.
No, dude, he just wants to be there. He just wants to be there, and
he's counting down the days. Let me tell you, every day, 44 days.
He's a good guy, and being able to meet him and go to Forbidden Door in Toronto was a blast. And we went to Collision the night before. That was a lot of fun. You didn't
sit together, did you?
Collision we did side by side. But Forbidden Door we were actually about maybe 5 rows apart. He was above me, and so we would turn around and like we tried to communicate as best as we could. But it was good, man. We went for drinks, and dude, he will buy you. This is the thing with Maribito. He will buy you a drink, and then, you know, it's customary for you to return the favor, right? And buy the second round. He won't let you. He's like, I got this. I got that. This guy will buy you so
That's
many
like
drinks. Somebody
somebody else that we're not going to speak about. So imagine Friday night.
And he's going to be there, too.
I don't know if he will be there Saturday. He still hasn't told me if he got tickets. But we will be out Friday night, all 4 of us. All 4 of us will be out Friday night. That's what I'm saying. Turn your phones on.
Yeah, put your phones on airplane mode. Turn them off. Disconnect from social media, because Joe and the gang, God knows what's going to happen. I'm a little worried for you guys. I'm a little worried for Jones, to be honest. I think you guys are going to peer pressure him. You know,
I'm not that much of a drinker.
By the end of the night, Joe, by the end of the night, that's you, bro. That's you.
So last time when I went out with the person, you know, I'm usually, you know, a couple beers and I'm good.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, 7 shots to apple pies.
And those are the shots that you remember, 7. You don't even know how many you've had.
No.
The 2 of you guys together, you're the toxic twins. Watch out.
And guess who the driver is?
Oh, take an Uber. Take an Uber. Because, yeah, oh God. The 44 days. That's what it is. Yeah, I'm sure the lead up to SummerSlam is going to be fun.
Yeah,
you guys are going to
be excited. See my son's going to put Maribito in something, you know, like F5, you know.
Hit it more than likely. Joe, I think the only other thing we got to talk about tonight is just a rumor. Just a rumor.
Is it who killed WCW?
No, it's
oh yes,
Shane McMahon is All Elite.
The man who has reached out to a few of the AEW wrestlers to gauge their
This
interest.
Was said on Conrad's and JR's. Was it on JR's podcast? I think it was on JR's.
Yeah, JR's the one that brought
Conrad Thompson said that someone reached out to him to tell him that, yeah, Shane has been putting the feelers out there to see hypothetically what it would look like, or what could happen if Shane McMahon were to join AEW. This was just a, you know, kind of one of those silly internet wrestling rumors that kind of gets thrown out there by some account that has a number of followers and people riff off of that, right? But JR mentioned it, and then Conrad's like, well, it's true that it's a hypothetical, but he has messaged a few guys on the AEW roster. What are your thoughts on this, Joe?
I think Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners would be awkward in the McMahon household.
More than they already are?
I mean, what is Shane going to do? Be a partner?
I don't know.
Show up. I now own ROH.
Oh my goodness. I don't know what he would do. If he's just there to, book himself into every main event and maybe put the title
He's
on
gonna
him.
win the casino bet. He's gonna
He's
book
gonna win
himself.
that chip.
Man.
Mr. Beefy, welcome. It's all right that you're a little late. Life happens, bro. Life happens. But yeah. I think those family dinners are going to be, Joe, like you said, even a little more.
ROH invasion on Dynamite. Shane McMahon shows
It's Shane that shows up. He's leading the pack. Team AEW versus Team ROH, run by Shane McMahon. He's going to come out with that kendo stick, bro.
For control. He's going to tear a quad in the process.
Now, okay, what happens if he helps strictly with creative?
I don't think Shane's a good creative guy. I don't. This dude
either.
wanted to book himself in the Rumble as one of the last 2 or 3 men.
He wanted how many WrestleMania main events? Like his track record, and say what you want about his old man, right? He had to put a stop to it. He could not let Shane book himself in these major spots and roles at the Rumble, at WrestleMania, or going after titles or this and that.
Hold on. What is this? Was it hold on. I think it was oh yeah, it was when him and Lesnar clashed over the Rumble.
That was it. That was it. But I don't know. AEW fans are so funny, and by that I mean, so many people have talked shit on Shane. That's the worst kind of shitting on a McMahon or a McMahon. But they shat on Shane for so long, and they've disliked him. And now, after years of doing that, they're looking forward to seeing him maybe join the company. It's crazy. I don't know, man. But it's wrestling. Stranger things have happened. I don't think it'll amount to anything, but
that's right. Shane wanted to be a major player in the Rumble match.
Yeah.
Pitched that to creative and shot it down, and he was upset.
I could see Tony Khan saying, all right, you can win the AEW world title. Let's put the AEW world title on the McMahon.
I mean, I wonder who he reached out to. I remember Jericho talking about how when they were in the Survivor Series match, Shane literally hit him in the face.
And who's Conrad close to on the roster that would share that information? Now, Conrad is a AEW
Woo Energy,
right?
I mean, maybe the Bucks.
I don't know. I know he's
Jericho?
friends with FTR, but
Jericho, maybe
I don't know.
Jarrett.
I don't know. I'm wondering who would have shared that, but either way, I don't know if it's going to amount to anything. We'll see, man. But yeah, Ric Flair's in AEW.
Wing!
and so you never know what could happen. If he, you know what though, would it be worse than what Tony Khan is doing? As bad as Shane is creatively, is it as bad as what we've seen, especially as of late in AEW with Tony Khan's booking?
I don't know. Maybe Shane wants to come in and be a partner. I think he has a bigger agenda.
Yeah.
Or maybe Shane will walk in and be like, I'm better than 80% of this roster.
Could be.
Like we saw Russo did in the Who Killed WCW doc.
I want to get Russo back on here. talk about he hasn't watched the podcast or the documentary. He refuses to watch it because he says he was there, bro.
I don't know.
That's what he's
Seen
saying.
some clips of him, and I'm like, hold on.
I messaged him earlier today, so we'll see what amounts to that. But I want to hear his thoughts.
It's a good documentary.
It is a very good documentary. I love how The Rock just wasn't there for 95% of it, but I love when he gives his commentary on it, and he's behind it. He's the mastermind behind it. I don't even know if did he produce it?
Yes.
Dwayne, he produced it. Okay. Him and let's see what Juan said. Russo hates wrestling with a passion, but does a wrestling podcast and
but he's controversial and people love it.
And people watch him. Dude, when every time he's on our show, people tune in. And you're gonna have the people that say what you want about Russo, but you know what? Look at how Bischoff is being painted in this documentary as well. And Bischoff, although him and Russo are two very different people and personalities, there are people that love him and there are people that hate him.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of people that before this documentary even, and there's still one more episode to go, there were a lot of people that put a lot of the blame on Bischoff for the demise of WCW. Even though there's much more to it than just Russo or Bischoff or Hogan, right? It's not, you can't just point the finger at one person, but these guys, Russo, Bischoff, Cornette, this is their bread and butter now, right? They've done so much.
After watching this documentary, even though we have one more episode left, I'm maybe going to give Bischoff maybe 5 or 10%. I don't think it was Bischoff.
From what I've watched, and this is just my opinion, I think Bischoff had obviously a hand in it.
Yeah.
I would put more blame on Hogan more than Bischoff. And I say that even though Bischoff was the one who was hired in the role that he was hired in, Hogan ran the show.
Somebody wanted to give me a pile driver. I said, that doesn't work for me, brother.
Whatever Hogan wanted. Like Hogan versus Sting.
Starrcade 97.
Arguably, they're a bigger pay-per-view in WCW.
Yeah, that was their WrestleMania.
100%. Hogan versus Goldberg should have been just as big, in my opinion. And
they didn't even do like a bill. They just, hey, announce it.
Yep.
J.J. Dillon comes out on Thunder. Hulk Hogan's contractual obligated to show up in the Georgia Dome on Monday, and he will be defending the title against Goldberg.
Yeah.
Like
Bill Goldberg.
Yeah. Like what?
That should have been the second biggest match in WCW, and yet, like Kirk says, it stems down to bad management. It stems down to the politics. It stems down to the merger. Say Mr. Beefy says, from what I saw, the buddy with Hogan did help Bischoff, but people at Time Warner, it just sounds like it was an uphill battle behind the scenes. They didn't like wrestling. No. They didn't want wrestling on their network. They thought that they were a bigger, I'm not saying that they weren't a big deal, but Time Warner made it sound like they were, think of any network that is one of the biggest networks. Right? They thought they were bigger than they were. That's what I'm trying to say.
Even though WCW was pulling good ratings, they just didn't care.
No. Even in their demise, bro, they were still pulling great
numbers. Now, if you had the people that run TNT now, the Warner Brothers, back then, different story.
100%.
They love.
We would. The conversations would be very different about AEW.
Yes.
Very different. because even though Tony Khan hasn't renewed any contract yet, we don't know the whereabouts of where Dynamite and Rampage and Collision are going to go, and if the TNT and TBS titles are going to have to be revamped. It's a different time for TBS and TNT and their perception on wrestling. If you haven't had a chance, watch that documentary. There is one more part next Tuesday at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern, but it was very well done from what I've watched so far.
I love it.
Yeah, it's been good. Joe, that's all we had to talk about in terms of the wrestling news this week. It's a lot. Anything else you want to get off your chest?
Nope.
No, that's it. You sure?
Yep, I put my stamp on it.
But does it say Joe Vitanza on it? Is that, or did you?
Could, for my own collection.
Get a PTM stamp.
Working on something like that.
So am I. Got Classic Shields working on it. Oh, I said them. Oh, Mr. Beefy. Last week, Mr. Beefy fell asleep. Shortly after we were talking about Liv and Dom. I wonder why he fell asleep so quickly afterwards. It wasn't just because that we were on late. I don't know. He fell asleep staring at the picture of Liv in her nylons. So I'm insinuating something, but I'm not going to come out and say it. But Mr. Beefy woke up to our end credits and then had to clean up and go to bed. But Liv in her nylons. I'm looking forward to. Did you see when Dom was taking off his vest on her?
Oh, yes.
You have to take it off. Oh, here's another one. Juan's getting his lotion for his very dry skin.
Yeah.
All I got to say is this. WWE right now is watchable. It's exciting. It's something that we've been missing for a long time.
We've talked about it last week with the Live things and everything, with the Live segments and other stuff, like really pushing the boundaries. Attitude Era-esque.
It is very, and once they go to Netflix. I think Mr. Beefy is going to do a lot of bada bing, bada boom, you know? Netflix is going to be a different beast. It's going to be a different show. It's going to be a different feel, and they are giving us a sense of what is to come in January. It's a good time to be a wrestling fan. And CM Punk in Chicago this week on SmackDown.
Chicago
should be exciting.
To get cleared, hopefully.
To get cleared, and then hopefully set up that match with Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam.
I'm working on the contracts. I'm in talk with Drew to come back.
You've got a lot of pull, Joe. I've noticed that, being sitting alongside you've got a lot of pull. Can't wait for that Netflix launch. It'll be good.
Watch for the kick, Brett.
You're gonna get that Sean figure?
No.
Why not?
How much is it?
I have no idea. Does it matter?
I mean,
you only live once, Joe.
Yes, but I am looking at like a Brett and Sean WrestleMania 12 figure on eBay right now.
Okay. You could have both.
I could. But I have a Brett Rumble 93 figure. A Yoko Rumble 93 figure. Then I have a Brett and Yoko WrestleMania 10 figure.
You love that Brett and Yoko.
I like their feud, growing up.
It's a good feud. It's very good.
Back-to-back WrestleManias.
Yeah.
But I also thought about, like, Should I get everybody in this picture that held the winged eagle figure? But that's going to take too much time.
That will take a lot of time. And then you got to find a place to display them and everything else.
Means I got to get a DTOF again.
Yeah, after you sold how many of them?
3.
Tell your buddy who's selling all of his belts to give you a shelf.
He does have a DTOF.
Right? If he gets rid of all those belts, he's going to have a DTOF to move. So just take it from him.
I'll tell him. Buy it off of him. Ooh, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mess him right now. No.
Message him right now.
No, I don't want to.
No? I don't understand your relationship with him. I don't get your relationship with him. I really don't. You guys love each other one minute, you hate each other the next. Keep it consistent. Fuck.
It's like a old married couple.
You know, you guys are. You've been years and years of, you've been through it all together. Nothing can separate you two.
Hey, how's he doing? F that guy. Next day, we're at the bar.
I haven't talked to him, and I got fuck him. That's the nature of the relationship.
Next day, we're at the bar.
See, just drinking it away. Like, I love you, man. And I'm getting texts or Snapchats from him. You're in the background. But that's it, I think, for the wrestling news, Joe.